We're talking about relationships, and I would like to touch today specifically on relational maturity and try and give you a few tips of how we can become relationally mature, because that is so important. I see so many times that relationships break down simply because there's a lot of immaturity in relationships. So I thought the following few things will help you to become mature so that you can have mature relationships. So the first one is you have to settle your own identity. That you get to the place where you settled in yourself and you're not trying to be like somebody else. That you know who you are, and we know that that comes from a relationship with God. But secondly, for us to grow in maturity in our relationships, we need to be able to become disciplined enough that we don't react to everything that happens and what people do around us, but rather respond. And you can respond when you just pause a little bit before you just explode because of something someone has done, and that helps a lot with achieving relational maturity. The other one that's closely akin to that is how offense-proof we are. We can either be offense-prone or offense-proof. And that is part of our maturity, that we don't allow everything around us to be interpreted as personal and against us, and that we take offense. Because once offenses come in our lives, relationships really, really suffer. So decide for yourself whether you're going to be offense-prone or offense-proof. And do not make everything personal in your life, but avoid offenses. And then, of course, there's the big matter of being a person that self-corrects. And this might gross you out for a moment, but if I dig in my nose while I speak to people, it's actually better if I come to the conclusion all by myself that it's not good to dig in your nose publicly and in front of people and start to amend my behavior. So that's a sign and something to strive towards in terms of maturity. Self-correction. Take a step back from yourself and say, wow, maybe I should work on this kind of behavior or this little quirk that I have. That's really damaging to relationships. You see, that is something that defines us as mature when there's self-correction. And then, of course, I believe it's being able to live beyond yourself. That you can realize it's not all about you, but that you have a role to play in relationships towards other people to also benefit them and add value to their lives. And I believe that ultimately, if we want to become productive in relationships, we have to find a balance. It's about balance. Being, on the one side, very prone to rejection. So if somebody gives me a short answer, I'm rejected. Or on the other side, that we are consuming, that we want everything from everybody for ourselves. And we can consume people or we can live under rejection. And actually, we need a godly balance. That we know I'm accepted by God, and that I know also on the other side, I need to give space to people. I need to have some tolerance. That people are just people, and they need to be cut some slack. And it's important to find the balance between living under rejection or being just all-consuming in terms of people around you. Want all their attention and all their time all the time. We need to give some space. And ultimately, if I can say this to you, the aim of our relationships is not that there would be self-serving. In other words, that I'm in relationships for myself and what I can get out of it. That's very negative. Or, on the other side, that I become a doormat and there's an issue of slavery in our relationships. You're nobody's slave. But actually that our relationships should serve ultimately God's purpose. And I believe if we can today say, Lord, help me, that I can become mature, that my relationships can not only serve myself, but serve others and ultimately serve your purpose. Then we will be in a place where our relationships will have a lot of meaning. And I trust that that will be your experience. Let the Lord continue to bless your relationships and bring you and your relationships to a new point of maturity, that it may serve His purpose. God bless you as you practice this.